For most of the last decade, Western defense planners treated Turkiye as NATO's useful industrial flank, its TB2 drones proving effective in Libya, Nagorno-Karabakh, and early Ukraine while European capacity lagged. That comfortable narrative is now obsolete. In 2025, Turkish defense and aerospace exports reached $10.54 billion, a 48% year-on-year increase that pushed the sector to account for 3.6% of total exports, up from 1.7% in 2022. CIPRI's 2020 to 2024 dataset ranks Turkiye 11th globally with a 1.7% share, up 103% from the 2015 to 2019 baseline. On May 5, 2026, at the SAHA exhibition in Istanbul, Ankara unveiled the Yildirimhan, an ICBM-class system with a claimed range exceeding 6,000 kilometers and speeds between Mach 9 and Mach 25. The TB2 made Turkiye useful to the alliance. The Yildirimhan is designed to make it unchallengeable. The technical architecture spans from the Bora, operationally proven at 280 kilometers, to the Tayfun hypersonic ballistic missile with a stated range of up to 1,500 kilometers, and the Cenk medium-range ballistic missile with a design goal of 2,000 kilometers. The Cenk, unveiled in May 2023, features imagery consistent with MARV technology, with forward fins suggesting terminal maneuver capability, though no independent technical assessment or test footage has been released. At SAHA 2026, the Yildirimhan was announced with claims of Mach 9 to 25, a 3,000-kilogram payload, and liquid nitrogen tetroxide fuel powering 4 rocket propulsion engines, none of which has been independently verified by ISS, SIPRI, or any foreign government. The geography is unambiguous. 1,000 kilometers from Anatolia covers Athens, Tel Aviv, Cairo, and the eastern Mediterranean gas fields, while a 2,000-kilometer radius reaches Berlin, Vienna, Rome, and Moscow. This is not territorial defense geometry, it is coercion geometry, calibrated to ensure every counterparty recalculates the cost of pressure. The F-35 expulsion in 2019 taught Ankara not to align differently, but to eliminate external dependencies entirely, triggering a systematic campaign of propulsion and guidance insourcing. The TEI-TF6000, Turkiye's first indigenously developed turbofan engine delivering 6,000 pounds of thrust, was successfully tested in March 2024 and will power the Kızılelma and Anka-3 unmanned combat aerial vehicles. On the naval side, the midless vertical launch system provides an indigenous alternative to the American Mark 41, circumventing export restrictions that followed KATSA sanctions. Midless was successfully tested for the first time at sea on March 12, 2024, when TCG Istanbul fired a navalized Hisar-D missile from the system. These systems complement the Bora, Tayfun, Cenk, and Gezgin cruise missile family to form an increasingly capable portfolio of ballistic and cruise missiles. What the F-35 expulsion was intended to prevent, it has instead accelerated. At SAHA 2026, Turkish defense firms signed approximately $8 billion in contracts within the first days of the exhibition, with $6 billion of that consisting of export-oriented deals. The event attracted 800 Turkish firms and 500 foreign delegations, showcasing products ranging from the Kian 5th-generation fighter to the Kızılelma unmanned combat aircraft and TB3 carrier-capable drone. President Erdogan has set a target of $11 billion in annual exports by 2028, aiming to place Turkiye among the world's top 10 defense exporters. The SSB reported that the sector signed new deals worth $17.9 billion in total during 2025, up 79% year-on-year. Meanwhile, Europe is scrambling to meet urgent rearmament targets after decades of post-Cold War industrial atrophy. The structural trap is self-reinforcing. European governments buy Turkish capacity for immediate relief, and each contract deepens dependency, gradually eroding Brussels' leverage over Ankara on democratic governance, Mediterranean disputes, and missile escalation simultaneously. The Hürjet deal with Spain illustrates the mechanism with precision. In December 2025, Airbus Defence and Space, in partnership with Turkish aerospace industries, secured a contract worth approximately $3 billion for Spain's next-generation integrated training system, involving 30 Hürjet advanced jet trainers. A portion of the aircraft will be produced in Turkiye and delivered to Madrid, while another portion will be manufactured in Spain, with participation from local Spanish producers, creating a joint industrial model that embeds Turkish aerospace directly into a European NATO members' training infrastructure. This pattern, where European defense industrial partnerships create constituencies inside the EU for continued cooperation, makes future embargoes or sanctions politically costly. Every such contract also brings European engineers, procurement officials, and defense ministries into long-term dependencies on Turkish sustainment, upgrades, and spare parts. Ankara understands that commercial integration is the most durable form of strategic leverage. Turkiye's strategic posture cannot be understood without the S-400, the Russian air defense system, whose acquisition triggered the F-35 expulsion and CAATSA sanctions in the first place. Ankara has kept the S-400 in a deliberately ambiguous operational status. The system is not integrated into NATO's air defense architecture, which prevents it from triggering Article 5 tripwires, yet it remains a potent, high-altitude area denial asset over southern Anatolia. Simultaneously, Turkiye relies on NATO's early warning radar at Kurachik to provide cueing data for its own air defense network. This hybrid posture supplies Russia with a persistent fissure in alliance solidarity, while shielding Turkish missile launch sites from potential Russian retaliation via the NATO umbrella. It is a calculated free-rider strategy. Ankara enjoys the collective defense guarantees of NATO membership while developing long-range strike capabilities that directly threaten other allied territories and partner stability. When a NATO member develops an independent offensive missile complex at this scale, the regional deterrence architecture reacts across multiple vectors simultaneously, and the reaction cycles are already accelerating. Greece has responded with Rafale F-3R fighters armed with Scalp EG cruise missiles, FDI Belhara frigates carrying Aster-30 interceptors, and Israeli David Sling batteries, creating a de facto bilateral deterrence axis outside NATO command. Israel, which since October 2023 has faced unprecedented rhetorical hostility from Ankara, must now accommodate a two-front missile threat. Iranian proxies arriving from the east and a sovereign Turkish salvo potentially arriving from the northwest, exploiting coverage gaps in the Arrow 2 and Arrow 3 architecture optimized for Iranian launch azimuths. The short flight times involved, perhaps 5 to 8 minutes for a Tayfun-class missile to the Central Aegean, eliminate deliberative decision-making windows and push command and control toward pre-delegated launch authority. This inherently increases the risk of accidental or unauthorized escalation. Turkiye is no longer behaving as NATO's southeastern flank. It is behaving as an autonomous Eurasian military power that maintains NATO membership as one instrument among several, alongside the S-400 strategic relationship with Russia, alongside operational ties to non-Western networks across the Levant and North Africa, alongside an independent ballistic missile complex that now claims ICBM tier reach and has demonstrated a credible MRBM capability. European governments face a structural choice they have not yet formally acknowledged. They can continue to buy Turkish manufacturing capacity at the price of accumulating strategic dependency, treating Ankara's defense growth as politically neutral despite democratic regression, Mediterranean posturing, and sustained S-400 maintenance. Or they can treat Turkiye's missile program as the political and strategic statement it is, and begin building alternative defense industrial partnerships before the dependency becomes structurally irreversible. Ankara understands deterrence mathematics well enough to know that the threat does not have to be credible in precise technical detail. It only has to be credible enough that no counterparty wishes to be the first to test it.